Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The campaign is Spawn of Azathoth. It was written by Doc Herb, and our game master is John Hook, and this is episode 9. Our recap will be given by me as my character, Dr. Zeno Saladin. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. All praises to the Queen of Cats, Lady Bast, beloved of the gods, Mao best meret necharu. We call to you, mighty feline of the east, bright eye of Ra. We have come to your city, the land of dreams, the city of Ulthar, where your children are revered and worshipped. We thank you for your blessings, and we thank your children for revealing to us the location of the traveling library. We came to find what happened to our friend, Philip Baxter, and the librarian said that he had been here, that he had looked into a strangely named book. I found the book in the hands of my friend, the rival, that long astronomer. He'll come around soon. I'll accept your humble apology. He likes cats. That's his salvation, I think. He read about the thing that lies in the perfumed jungles of Clegg, to which we will soon journey. But first, we need to translate the Mandarin kanji in the margins. We need a priest of the elder gods to help us with that. And so we head to the temple. But before that, the traders and circus folk. But I must tell you what I saw, what my friends saw first, what unleashed old Zebedee's bladder and turned old Cuthbert white as snow. The silken widow of the web, Hynaria, a sentient spider the size of a Model A, who spoke with a hiss and a whisper. But she wasn't a freak in the sideshow, no. She was apparently in charge. We need money, you see, to gain the services of the Dark Dwarf, to guide us to the castle of the sacred font. The font of youth? She gave me her permission to ply my trade, to read the future of the circus rabble and gain some well-needed coinage. 10%, she asks. That seems fair. Something tells me cheating her would be folly. So I will work while the others seek another curious mystery. The burgermeister of this feline-filled town seems to be a man we know, the caretaker of old Father Baxter, Matthew White. I wonder that spiders cannot speak in our world, but here they can. So Matthew in our waking world cannot speak, but here he rules the city and is well liked. It's strange, very strange indeed. I bring you these wonders that you might know that I have traveled the phantasmal world and gifted this story to you. So that is it. Now you know my dreams. Heed them, learn from them. We have yet to really see the dangers of this place. Now then go in peace with the blessings of the cat goddess Bast.
That is awesome. Thank you, Tom. Okay, so you guys are in Ulthar. You have met the master of the carnival. And some of you are interested in going to the castle to meet the burgermeister. And I believe Dr. Saladin is going to start working. Where do you guys want to begin?
Well, I'm simple enough. I'm going to try to read people's fortunes. I don't have any equipment, so I'm going to use their palm reading.
Okay.
At first. And then if I can acquire some things, I'll...
So
and I'm Zeno's hype man. I'm helping him get people.
That's right. You're my shell.
So Barnabas says, well, welcome to the family. And he says he's walking with you as you guys are kind of crossing the main quad, if you will, for the carnival. And he's kind of guiding you towards a cart, a wagon, a covered wagon. And so he says, you can set up your wares here. The previous owner isn't using it anymore. And you see the side of the wagon is decorated as if it is for a fortune teller, and it says, blazoned on the side, it says Madame Xanadu, and see your fortune.
Excellent. This will do just fine. I can repaint the side, but
yes, we'll get some boys on that for you.
Excellent. I'll begin immediately. 70, actually, I might not need you in this case since I already have all of this. If you want to go with the others.
Is it a good idea to leave you alone, Zeno?
This is a dream. It's perfectly safe.
No, I think I will wait around with you because I don't.
All right, you can help me with this. Then. Let's get this fixed up quick.
Okay.
So maybe there's some equipment inside. I can read fortunes with tarot cards or crystal balls, whatever. Is there anything inside?
Yeah. So Barnabas leaves you to the wagon, and at the rear end of it, there's a fold-out stairwell, so you can go up the steps, and it's got wooden sides and stuff. So it's a fully, it's almost like a medieval RV, and so as you go inside, there's a door and everything at the back end. So you go through the door, and inside it's rather cramped, but it seems to have little functional areas, for different things. There's a seating area where clearly someone could read fortune. There's a deck of cards. There is a crystal. There's a crystal sphere sitting in a little tripod on the table. There's a curtained area there's a bed in the back. That's what it would look like if this was all neat and orderly. But you go inside, the table's knocked over, the crystal spheres rolled into the corner, the tripod is over there, the curtain is kind of half pulled off the rail and everything, and the place is just in shambles on the inside. And so Barnabas is kind of there. He's outside as you guys you've opened up the door to the wagon, and now you're seeing this interior that is all scruff and tumbled. And Barnabas says, well, good luck. Their previous Madame Xanadu had a disagreement with Hanaria. So,
well, those things happen. It's practically a palace you've given me. Thank you so much.
Yes, excellent. Well, good for you.
I can have this dusted up and cleaned up within an hour.
Yeah, I want to.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll be sure to start advertising.
Excellent. Thank you. So I get to work.
All right. Barnabas leaves.
I'm also going to look to see if there's any leftover clothing. I know it's women's clothing, but at the same time, I could make some sort of.
Yeah, there's lots of scarves and large.
Robes.
Clearly, it looks like Madame Xanadu was probably a large woman, and so I mean the clothing, while skewing feminine, it has more of an Eastern flair to it. That's kind of unisexual and more roby, kind of roby.
I couldn't have dreamed anything better.
Wow.
So it's going to take you a little while for you guys to get that all straightened out.
Yeah.
So is Cornelius and Frederick and Myron heading straight for the castle, if you will? The keep.
Well, I mean, we have some new clothes, track down some tobacco, so nothing else to do. All the basic needs are taken care of.
Yeah, and we have a book that belongs to the Burgermeister. And we know now, having confabbed as a group, that there are people who are aware that this is not the waking world, which is, I don't assume we're to start with that with the Burgermeister, but we are forewarned that if it is Matthew White, he might recognize us. I assume he'd be friendly. But and given that it's high ground, it shouldn't be too hard to make our way to, even though I don't think the streets here are very orderly.
Now, these cobbles are pretty uneven. Not the most pleasant walking experience.
He seemed pleasant enough in the waking world, did he not?
I believe Myron had more contact with him than the rest of us.
Xena and I spent some time with the father and him. My primary impression is just that he's very devoted to the old priest. It's hard to get a real impression of a personality when somebody doesn't speak at all. And he's as strong as Hercules. So let's keep our eyes out on our way to the keep. I am curious about other locals or visitors that aren't human. We've got, I spotted one lizard man, I think, and of course we know about the impresaria of the circus. It seems like for safety and well-being, we ought to be cognizant of what other species are running around town.
Yes, giant spiders making business arrangements is a little troubling.
Oh.
Now, if we go to the palace, though, in that direction, that'll separate us from Dr. Zeno by a day's travel almost, isn't it?
Oh, well, that's great.
No. The city is walkable. So the keep is on a rise inside the city walls.
Oh, okay.
And it's also enclosed within its own walls around the keep that are at the outskirts of the hill, the rise that's inside there. So the keep is kind of raised up and it overlooks the whole city.
All right. So it would be like maybe a half an hour away then, at most?
It's 5-10 minutes. I mean, you're not far. You're not far.
Okay, no worries at all. I was envisioning it slightly differently.
No.
So we're off.
Okay. So there is the city. You haven't really prior. A lot of your travel through the city has been, in the back of a wagon, barely getting into the city. You were nose down following a herd of cats. You got to this part of town through a magical doorway. So you really haven't had an opportunity to kind of walk the city and see what the life is like here. And as you said, to kind of keep your eyes open and see what kind of people populate this place, you do see a wide variety of people. They look human. I mean, besides the variety of, we'll say like medieval style people in peasant style clothing to more fine looking clothing and stuff, there's also, you see a group of people. They definitely seem like they're traveling together as maybe some kind of merchant group or something, but they look very native African, where they seem to be having handmade clothing, but they're also in. Not only are they incredibly tall, they've placed discs around their necks, on their shoulders, and their heads and necks are extremely elongated. You estimate a literal 2 feet of neck. They're like giraffe people, and they have incredibly long arms, but other than looking elongated, they still look human. And so you see a variety of people. You see some people that at first you thought that was an interesting hairstyle, but apparently some people actually have curled ram's horns on their head. And yeah, there's just a variety of life here, and it seems completely commonplace. Nobody seems put out by seeing them.
And does any of them seem to be in a particular role, or is there a group that seems to be bullied or in charge, or is it all sort of like equal, commingling happily?
They all look like they're mingling on an equal level.
So
What you don't see is, you don't see a market of like slave trading or something like that. It's just everyone seems to be working the same.
So we seem to be seeing a lot of, I suppose, commoners, but my expectations with this medieval society is to see some sort of like noble class. Are there people that look like knights or like lords by chance? Like,
you do not see knights. You have seen some people with more elegant clothing that probably are more noble, but they don't seem too removed or too separated from the common folk. And they don't seem intimidated. The common folk don't seem intimidated by them. They don't seem apprehensive about being among the common folk. Ulthar seems to be a pretty cosmopolitan and very welcoming city.
okay, so definitely not this. Get the impression that they're not feudal.
Probably not here in Ulthar. Yeah.
And Burgermeister, that's not an inherited title, right? That's more or less elective. It might be guilds that elect the Burgermeister, not the general population, but it's not like we're visiting the local princeling.
Yeah, maybe at most it could be selected. You're not sure, but having a title of Burgermeister does not seem to imply hereditary bloodline ruling.
Which if you're going to be traveling here from another place, say the waking world, then you can move your way up.
So it doesn't take long at all to get to the outer gate that surrounds the Burgermeister Palace. And much like you saw on the city walls as you were crossing that bridge to come in through the north gate, there are guards posted who are wearing chainmail with the white tabards with that crest that I described, and they all have pole arms and they have short swords on their hips. And they, as you guys are approaching, they politely ask you to stop and say, "How can we help you? What's your business here?"
Gentlemen, we are visitors to the city from afar, newly arrived, and we've come into possession of this book that is marked the property of the Burgermeister, and we would like to return it to his, what do you call him? His lordship, his meisterhood?
Yes, the master, the Burgermeister is the master of the palace.
We'd like to return it to the master's library and also request an interview with him.
I see.
We think we have a friend in common.
And he says, if you'll wait a moment, please. And he like strikes a bell, and a young boy runs up, and the guard conveys some information to him, and he nods and takes off like a rocket. He just, and fleet of foot, he takes off and starts running for the palace. And he seems to be gone for some time. You guys can, the three of you can make spot hidden rolls.
18 is a hard success.
An 02 is an extreme success.
All right. Well, let's award this to the extreme success. So, Myron, as you're waiting for clearly a message to be returned from the Burgermeister Palace, and you guys are just kind of standing, milling about outside the gate, you look around and across the roadway, you can even see down another major road between the buildings. You do notice a gentleman who seems to kind of stand out from the crowd, and you recognize him briefly from someone that you saw in the library. It's the albino. And he's quite a distance away, but he seems to be positioning himself to observe you guys. You and the albino seem to have suddenly looked at each other, and he just kind of
Don't look now, gentlemen, but the pale shaman is also interested in the Burgermeister's keep.
Yeah, he was he had no interest in letting me take a look at that book.
Until he abandoned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like
And
to
he
get a
didn't
word with
wanna-
him, but
He didn't want to talk to you for a minute in the library, and
no,
now
I can't imagine him wanting to speak out here.
he's across the thoroughfare, John.
yeah, he's quite a distance away, but yeah.
So, given that he fled easily in the library, if we made an approach, he would have ample ability to get out of there.
Ample, yeah. There's lots of building. There's row buildings over there. There's probably some alleyways there as well as the main thoroughfare. Plus, it's congested with people.
Let's try to send him a note. We'll get some street urchin to carry a note to him. If we could figure out how to cobble that together.
Now, do any of the three of us have any money? Because I gave my coins to a painting.
I think, Corny, you got a purse, didn't you? Oh, we left all the money back at the carnival.
Yeah.
I guess we were kind of counting on the Burgermeister's warmth. Anyway, I don't have a pad or a pen either.
Or do we?
Is it possible I try to make eye contact with him
Okay.
from a distance and kind of just wave?
He clearly he knows that he's been seen, and so he just kind of he nods, and then he turns away and disappears. You're not sure if he went into a doorway or if he went into an alleyway due to the distance that he's at.
I'm going to ask one of the guards, the guard that spoke, if he noticed that fellow across the way. The tall, white-skinned fellow, unusual dress.
No, I don't know who you're talking about. And at that moment, the boy comes running back and gives a message to the guard, and he says, "The master will see you now." And they open up the gate, and there's another group of guards in there, and they begin to lead you up the pathway, going up the rise to the palace itself. As you get to the palace, the guard who has led you, he stops and using his pole arm, he raps on the door, and the doors are pulled open, and you see a fine marbled floor, and the doors are pulled open by these two very young and attractive women with gauze-like gowns and bare feet, and then they kind of bid you to enter. And the guard stays outside. So I assume you guys enter.
Yes.
Okay. The women who greet you say, "Welcome. The master will see you. Please remove your shoes."
Wouldn't want to scuff the marble.
Once you guys remove your shoes, then they begin to lead you deeper into the palace. It doesn't take long, and you guys are, threading your way through these different rooms, and you see all kinds of, fine furniture and small garden rooms and all kinds of interesting things. There's one atrium room, and it's filled with, it looks like a tropical jungle, just a small little containment of jungled plants in that tiny little atrium room, and it's raining just only in that room. So they take you deeper into the palace, and then they go into a room, and it's there's some fine furnishings. There's a large table, and in this room is the Burgermeister, and he's also quite tall, very well, big physical specimen, and he's also wearing a very simple white robe with a gold clasp up at near the collar, and it's like nightgown length, right? So it only goes down about halfway down his shins, and he's also barefoot walking around, and there's a few other older people, older men with him as well. And as you guys enter, one of the old men starts to approach. He goes, "Thank you, my book. I didn't know where I had placed that. Thank you so much."
It ended up in the Great Library somehow or other.
Yes. I had been there earlier this morning and must have lost it in my pursuit of material.
Yeah,
Thank you for returning it.
It is our pleasure. We've come from a distant city called Providence. Have you heard of it?
No. You guys can make psychology rolls if you'd like.
Since I'm not going to spend the 38 luck to pass, so
38. Oh, you should do it. It's easy.
Yeah, I'm regular success.
Cornelius?
52 for 56.
Fail.
Yep. Myron, at the mention of Providence, you do, while you're pretty sure that this older gentleman, probably the
astronomer,
astronomer and alchemist, he doesn't seem to recognize the name, but when you say Providence, you see the Burgermeister. He does lift his chin. Providence, you say?
Yes, we know a pair of brothers in Providence, the Baxters.
Yes, I dream of Providence.
Hmm.
Please, my guests, honored guests, please come in. Can I get your refreshments?
If you're having something, what? I'm sorry. What do we call you? Your Excellency, maybe.
Oh, I am the Burgermeister, but you may call me Cranon.
Cranon, I am Dexter.
Thank you, Cranon. I'm Cornelius. Pleasure.
And I am Frederick.
It is very nice to make all of your acquaintance. Providence, you say? How do you know of Providence?
Oh, we all reside there. I guess you could say in our dreams as well.
Yes, I dream of Providence often. It is a place of comfort for me. Ruling can be so taxing. So taxing.
Have you been the Burgermeister many years?
For as long as I can remember.
Mm. Yes, it seems like an ageless city, Ulthar.
Yes, ageless equates to eternal beauty. It is quite wonderful here, for sure.
Um,
And he's looking at you, Myron, and he says, I feel like we have met. Have we met before?
Perhaps in the dream. This dream of Providence.
Yes. Yes. Yes, you must be right. You must be right. And he claps. And then, people start bringing in all kinds of platters of food and wine. And he's like, please, you must dine with me.
we are honored. Thank you, Cranon.
Thank you very much.
Tell me more about Providence. I forget so much of it, but I long to return to it every night.
It is often the way with dreams, isn't it? They slip away from us.
Yes. I care for someone very deeply there. He seems like a father to me. But,
yes, he's one of the Baxters of which I spoke.
Yes.
And his brother has visited Ulthar before us. A Philip Baxter is his full name. He had dreams of visiting the jungles of Clad.
Oh, I don't know why you would go there. Very dangerous. Very dangerous indeed.
What makes it so dangerous?
It is filled with unexpected horrors and ivory castles.
Of what we've heard from this place, there is some sort of watcher there, a watcher of the glade. Is such a creature or being familiar to you?
Not to me, but if anyone should know of this watcher of the glade, it would be the monks at the Temple of the Elder Ones. You must consult with them. I'm sure that they will give you good guidance.
Would a letter of introduction of some sort be necessary, or do they always welcome pilgrims?
I will send a runner ahead, and they will expect you. They will give you every accord.
Your hospitality is more than generous. How's the food?
Oh, it is indescribable.
I don't usually eat in dreams.
That's it's funny you should say that. Do you feel like you are dreaming now?
I do not feel as though I am dreaming, no. But I know that I am far from home, just the same.
We are all far from home. But make the best of what you have while you have it. Where are you staying?
We only arrived today. We have not yet chosen. Is there an inn you would recommend?
I would. The west wing of my palace will be yours to use.
Even more remarkable in your generosity. We do have two other travelers in our group. May we invite them as well?
Please. You are anybody who travels from Providence is welcome here in my home.
Your hospitality is fantastically appreciated.
I would treat all travelers who've come so far from a place that is so near and dear to me. I would treat them as family.
It seems a pity that Philip Baxter didn't visit you himself. He might not have succumbed, as we fear he did, to the dangers of the jungle.
That is unfortunate. Yes, the jungles hold many secrets. There's many tales of terror and mystery. You should be very careful if you were to travel there.
Do you know of a carnival man named Barnabas?
I am not familiar, although I know that there are carnivals that travel through Ulthar. They have experiences throughout the realm.
Yes, we might be able to arrange for this Barnabas to act as a guide in the jungle of Cled. We are not sure yet what he wants in return, however.
Yes,
but he seems to know his way around.
Well, most people from Ulthar are quite fair and honest and true, so...
Yeah, although Philip mentioned having some scary experiences here as well, I suppose there's no community of this size that doesn't have some bad elements.
That is true. We have, there is some resistance to peace, but we quell it when we can.
Are you familiar with the albino or albino here?
I am not. Does he travel from Providence as well?
We don't know, but he seems to be. There's a man who seems to be following us. We encountered him briefly in the library, and he was watching us before we entered your palace.
That is very interesting.
He seemed to have interest in your book.
Well,
yeah, it's very interesting. Well, I will alert the guards so that they can keep an eye out for him.
Now, I come from such a distant place as Providence, and I study heavenly bodies in the sky. I am curious if the sky here is different than the one I'm familiar with. Is there someone I could talk to who also studies such things here?
Well, we do have our palace astronomers. You can certainly consult with them. The heavens are vast and beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, so the evening goes on. You guys get to eat and drink. There's entertainment. Time is wearing on. And as we return to Dr. Saladin and Zebedee, the gentlemen have not returned for quite some time. But you've gotten your wagon up and running.
Look, they had blue. How lovely. I'm very, very excited.
That actually suits you.
It's my color. Yes.
No, I mean, it looks great.
I think that we've got it all fixed up. I wonder if they had any luck with the Burgermeister, if they all got thrown in the dungeon.
Well, if they haven't come to find us in the morning, then or by a late evening.
Well, what time is it now? I'm not sure how time works here.
Yes, neither am I.
We've cleaned up enough. You can go run and see if you can find them. Come back and tell me if they're in prison. We'll have to make enough money to bail them out.
Okay, I will Yes. At least this place is looking fit for business.
I'll be fine. I need to start trying to attract people.
Just don't upset anyone,
Ah.
Zeno.
This is what I do for a living. This is my profession. I'm fine. All right.
Zebedee will take a nice stroll.
And what I'll do is I'll step out onto the little porch of the wagon, and I'll look around, and as somebody goes by, I'll be like, "You, madam, I can see great things in your future," and I'll do my shit.
Okay, all right. Do you have a skill in doing your shit?
I don't know what that would be.
Would you be trying to emphasize being a con artist? Would you be trying to emphasize trying to hypnotize them?
Oh no, I can't do that. I'm a con artist, but I am a con artist.
Okay.
Sleight of hand, I don't know.
Sleight of hand. All right. Do you have like a fast talk?
Let's see, fast talk. I have pretty good fast talk.
Okay. Yeah. So over the time, you're going to be able to get even in this evening, you're going to probably be able to get maybe half a dozen customers. So give me one fast talk with a bonus die, and let's see how well you do.
Okay, well, I got 21. 21 out of 55 is a hard.
Okay.
Wait,
good.
let's see if my bonus die gets me even better. No, it doesn't.
So with a hard success, we're going to say that you end out earning 2d6 coin.
One.
I just can't believe his eyes.
So I got 7.
Not bad. 7 on average. So that's how your thing is playing out there. Zebedee, what is your intent as you?
Well, I'm having a little stroll. I'm gonna look for some cats as well and give them a little stroke, if they will let me come in.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a cat that kind of curls your legs, and it seems to run and stop. It's kind of trying to get you to keep petting it.
Okay. I'm trying to make friends with the cats, but
do you follow the cat?
Yeah. Zebedee likes cats. He would, and the cats have led to good places before. I know it's Zeno asking them to take us to a library, but it might take me somewhere useful.
Okay. Yeah, so the cat, it'll come up and bump you in the legs, and then it'll run off and wait for you. And then if you start to follow it, it'll come and bump your legs again, get some scratches, and run away and wait for you. And so it kind of, plays this little game with you. And as you follow it, it leads you towards this alley. And then just as you're kind of like getting right to the alley, a pair of bone white arms reach out, grab you by the chest, and pull you into the alley. And as you get pulled in, you're now face to face with the albino. And so he's got you, and he is, he's got a large bone-handled knife pulled out and up to your throat.
Please, I don't want any trouble. Please.
There'll be no trouble.
Can you just let me? I won't disturb you.
You and the other outsiders. You must stop the star.
Stop the star.
You must stop the star.
Okay. Can you give me a little bit more information other than your cryptic?
Look up, you fool.
Oh, you actually want me? Okay. He actually looks up.
And the sky is still kind of it's getting darker, but it's still blue. But he says find a way, stop the star, let nothing stop you from that. And then he shoves you back out into the street.
I will very confusingly walk back to Zeno. I'm not even going to bother going to find the others because this is urgent and I know where Zeno actually is, so I'm rushing back to Zeno.
Okay.
And the chamber in the Burgermeister's palace that we're in, it's skylit, maybe with some torches to help.
Sure.
So we can see that there's dusk coming on at some point.
Yes.
And that's probably when we should, since we have a place to sleep and we don't know how long the night's going to be, since we don't know how long the day was, we should probably go to the carnival and invite the lads to their fancy new digs. Do you agree, Long, Cuthbert?
That makes sense to me.
I mean, I could have more of this wine. It's kind of ambrosial, but at some point,
I could go for a good walk. Go down and fetch them.
No question. Are there cats in the palace as well?
There are.
Are there on cue? Are there unusual or any concerning statues or tapestries or paintings that adorn any of this?
None that you have seen.
And did Cranon send in the royal astronomer to talk to Long at some point, or is that something he'll have to arrange in the future?
No, that could be this evening.
Yeah. If you two want to go on a stroll, I'd love to go see what they have in the way of telescopes and charts.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. We'll get the guys from the carnival, and because I think we should all go to the Temple of the Elder Gods together.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Seems that should prove to be an interesting place. But if I can get an understanding of what the sky looks like here, in case this Barnabas fellow proves, I don't know, not doesn't have our best interests at heart. Having some idea of how to navigate even a crude one will be better than nothing.
Agreed. When we come back, we'll check in on you if you haven't come back to our apartments that have been arranged for us.
And there's some secretary or something that will arrange so that the guards at the keep doors know that we're to be admitted to the West Wing.
You make the assumption that that word has passed that you guys are now guests of Cranon the Burgermeister.
Pretty sweet deal. Let's not. We don't know the local mores. Let's keep our noses clean.
Very good idea.
So you guys, Myron and Cornelius, take off to try and gather the others?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys leave, but Zebedee is heading back to get Zeno.
Well, Zebedee,
Zeno.
what
Zeno.
are you doing here? What did you find out?
So I decided to pull you, and I thought if you could, maybe I could. So I tried to get the attention of a cat, and it led me to an alleyway, and then I got pulled into the alleyway by the albino man, and he said, "We have to stop the star," or something along those lines.
Who's the star?
Well, he just told me to look up, so it's something up there, and I thought maybe you would have more knowledge.
I don't have the foggiest clue what you're talking about. You say, did he try to rob you?
Oh, he had a bone dagger to my throat?
A bone-handled dagger, yep.
Yeah.
So basically nothing. We have to stop the star.
Yeah, so he repeated that several times. Called me an idiot because I didn't look up. And yeah, well, a fool.
Well, we don't know what it means. Maybe it's just one of those things that people in the Dreamlands say to one another.
Well, he didn't kill. Well, obviously he didn't kill me, and he didn't harm me. He said that and let me go.
Well, we'll have to ask other people what they think he means. We're supposed to go to see the high priest or the priests or the monks, whatever they are.
The others might be intrigued to know about my encounter with the albino man.
Well, perhaps, but you were supposed to go and see.
Well,
if they were. I've got 7 coins so far.
Well, I was going to, after I had followed the cat, I was going to go find them. And then this cryptic stuff happened, and I thought you might be more useful. But, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Well,
Jumbo?
I mean, the little wagon is quite comfortable on the inside. We'll just stay here for tonight, unless find out tomorrow if they're all locked up somewhere.
Yeah. Let's hope they're nice and safe and not in a cold cell.
Well, get inside and make me some coffee.
Okay. I just walk in.
All right. So Frederick, Cornelius and Myron have left, and it's about that time. Cranon bids you good evening. He has other matters to attend to, and his astronomers, 2 older men, they come in and welcome you, and they say, "Oh, you have interest in tracking the heavens."
Yes, that's what that is my profession. From the land of Providence, where I am from.
Oh, very interesting. Are the heavens different there?
Well, that's what I would like to ascertain.
Well, come with us. Come with us. And they lead you into a tower and spiraling upward, and you end up getting to a very high open air platform, a rooftop at the top of this tower, and there is a tripod with a 2-foot long telescope on it. It just looks like a collapsible spyglass mounted on this tripod, and certainly nothing of the scale and equipment that you're accustomed to.
No, but this will do nicely. I'll take a look.
A device of this design should just have a focal length to look across a battlefield, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's pointed upward, and it doesn't have any mirrors or anything in it, so you have to kneel down to get to the eye scope, to see up. But you look through this thing, and it has amazing clarity and focus. Some of the small stars are quite large, and you seem to have the ability to view through this small device in the same way that you would through a 30-foot long telescope, actual observatory telescope in Providence or in Arkham, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, quite surprising at the view that you're getting through this tiny little device.
I will compliment them on their instrument here. That's
yes,
fine
Thank
craftsmanship. So
fine indeed.
I'll start trying to find like the North Star and constellations I would be familiar with. Let's see.
So no roll is necessary because the stars, as it's now getting dark enough to actually see the stars as they're coming out, everything seems very familiar. You are seeing, but there seems to be layers. So you see all of the heavenly bodies that you're accustomed to, but there's just a slight shift. The moon looks 3 times closer than it normally does. It looms absolutely enormously in the sky, but it still looks like our moon, just a lot bigger, a lot closer. And then you see all of our familiar constellations, but it's almost like looking at or looking through layers of panes of glass that are marked on those layers. And so it's almost as if in the real world you're only looking at one layer of glass, but you're able to see what feels like 2 or 3 layers of these panes of glass, and each layer has its own, it seems to have its own constellation. So as you're looking through this telescope and you kind of toy with the focusing apparatus, twisting the lens on the end, or maybe even shortening the length of the scope itself, and playing with that, you seem to be bringing into focus maybe that next layer of glass, so the layer that you're very familiar with seems to kind of fade away, and you're looking at that next one, or maybe you look at the one after that, right? You're being able to peer at these different layers that with the naked eye, they all seem to kind of blend together a bit. So you see your familiar skyline, but it's that plus more. And it's a little shocking. Give me a sand roll.
Yeah, stars beyond the stars is not 18 I passed.
Okay. Yeah, you'll lose nothing for that. It's just if anything, it kind of invigorates you. It's like, oh my God, there's so much more.
Gotta go find their books. I mean, they must be charting this stuff as diligently as we charted things in the past. I'm curious about the movements of these outer heavens. I don't know what else to call them at this point, but
yes, and so these two guys are like, oh yeah, you build a lifetime watching the stars here. Here's something very interesting that we've just recently noticed. And so one of the guys gets up to the telescope and he starts playing with it and changing the focus, and he says, here it is. Take a look at this. And as you look through, you see with a level of clarity that you've never encountered before, you see what looks like a shooting star. And it's interesting because you don't really have a profile view to it. It's almost a head-on view. So it does look like there's like a depth of perception to it, as if it's really kind of coming in towards you, towards the planet. And give me a power roll.
O2.
There, you feel like there's something really menacing about this. There's something, it's hard to put your finger on it, but as you're looking at this thing, you feel like it's looking back at you.
So this is intriguing. So it's has characteristics of a shooting star, but those are, I mean, on Earth, those are burning up bits of rock. So they're very short-lived, but this is closer to
more like a comet.
More like a comet then. Okay.
Yeah.
It's got a long tail. And what color is it? Is it
Yeah,
white?
it
Is it?
it is more of a deeper red trailing into white.
Oh, that is extraordinary. Does it come by on a regular cycle, or is it new?
This is something we've never tracked before. None of our records show this. We believe it's coming from a constellation quite far away. And yes, and the other gentleman speaking goes, we've come to name it Nemesis, just from the way that, I don't know, surely you've
Yes.
felt it. There's something about it. It feels quite malevolent.
Yes, indeed. Nemesis. Visit. It might pass by fairly close, don't you think?
If we're lucky, it will pass us by, yes.
How long ago did you spot this?
We've only just noticed it for the last full moon cycle. It's coming in quite quickly. In fact, its rate has been unpredictable. We thought, based upon measurements, that it was going to take a certain amount of time to get to this distance from us, but it seems to have accelerated, while at other times it seems to decelerate. It's very
not moving at
interesting.
a fixed rate. So with these shells of heavens above me, where is it? Like, what shell?
It seems to be at the second layer, but it looks like it's getting really close to kind of blending and joining this first layer, where it might be more noticeable with the naked eye.
So it is, relatively speaking, on a cosmic scale, closing in, and it's fairly close.
Fairly close now.
That is interesting.
On a cosmic level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really, relatively speaking. That is fascinating. Well, I thank them. Thank you so much for letting me use their equipment and showing me this incredible phenomenon. I would love to see more of your records if you have them.
Oh yes, and they came with certain scrolls and stuff under their arms and a couple of books, and there's paper sticking out. I mean, these guys are definitely incredibly academic, and obviously love to document everything that they can find. So we'll assume that you have you spend some time with these guys.
I'm especially interested in these outer shells.
Yeah, layer after layer of all these heavens, right? So as you are at the top of the tower making your observations, Myron and Cornelius are arriving back in the carnival. You guys do see there is a wooden wagon with wooden sides and stuff. It's pretty good size, and there's some young men working on it with paint, and you can see that they're in the process. It looks like they've whited out something that was a banner of some sort, and now they're in the process of updating it, and it says doctor, and they're in the process of getting the final letters of Saladin painted on the side of this wagon.
I think we found them.
Corny, it looks like he's probably spent more on having a paint job done and getting a wagon than good thing we've got a place to stay.
As I step out onto we're getting towards the end of the working day.
Mm-hmm.
As I step out onto the porch, I look over, I see them, and I'm like, "You there! I sense that you've come from a long distance. Step forward. I will read your future.
This is amazing. We have indeed come from quite a ways.
And as Myron comes forward, I hold out your hand.
Mhm.
I drop 7 coins into his hand.
Oh,
There you go.
not bad. Not bad.
They gave us all of this. Apparently there was another fortune teller who had a falling out with the spider. And so they just gave this to me.
We should probably find out what kind of falling out that was, because I don't want to have a falling out with the spoiler.
My feeling is I've dealt with shady people before, even in New York and Providence. How bad could it be? She's a giant spider. She probably ate the woman. I just have to not do anything to offend her. I think I can't give you all of that. Give me 1 coin back. I need to turn in 3/4 of one of those coins so that I can pay my 10%. It's actually a little bit more than 10%, but she'll like that, I hope.
Yeah, and I've heard worse rates for agents before.
All the equipment that I could need, I might just stay here.
Well, that's the Dreamlands so far have been very generous. You can stay here, but we're also invited to stay on the west wing of the Burgermeister's palace.
I'll come with you to the Burgermeister's palace.
Zeno, I have your coffee.
Oh, thank you.
Did you make enough for a few of us?
Zebedee,
that
everybody's
sounds
here.
great.
Yeah, hang on.
We're staying in the palace. Zebedee had an encounter with the albino.
Yes.
Really?
I followed a cat to an alleyway. He dragged me into the alleyway, put a bone-handled knife to my throat, and said, "You must stop the star," or something like that. I cannot remember his exact phrasing, but "You must stop the star," and he kept repeating it. I asked what it was. He called me a fool and told me to look up, and yeah, he didn't really give me much other than "You must stop the star," basically.
Sounds like a challenge to stop a star.
But we have.
What's he talking about? Could it be a performer?
Yes, but we have to do it, and I wish I could have asked. I should have probably asked him why he couldn't have done it, but I was a bit frightened. He had a bone-handled knife to my throat.
Where's Frederick? Is he gone somewhere else, or
He's still at the. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, he's at the observatory, the Burgermeister's observatory.
oh, of course he is.
So, the Burgermeister thinks that Providence is a place that he goes when he dreams. He has a vague recollection of Father Baxter, but he doesn't know his name or Philip's name, or that that's the real world.
And yet we're aware of Providence. I wonder if we go to sleep here, if we wake up in Providence.
I wonder if you stay here too long, you start feeling like this is real,
Forgetting,
and the waking world is the dream.
but our bodies are in the room. I don't know.
He implied that he dreams of it every night. So, that's maybe there's not who knows who even is first. Maybe the Burgermeister is the real person and Matthew White is a dream.
Maybe his physical brain is damaged in the real world, but not here.
Yeah, I don't know. He was very friendly at the point. The palace is stunning, and we're welcome to stay there.
All right, well, let me lock up here and.
Here's your coffees, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
I'll take my coffee. Zebedee, I'll be right back. I'm going to go pay my 10%.
Oh, okay.
Delicious.
So I'm going to go find the barker and pay my 10%.
Okay.
Yes, I drink. I make myself a cup of tea, and I'm not a coffee man. Have a team, eh?
I'm going to
Zed,
go with Zeno because I want to see Barnabas if we run into him.
And I'll stay with Zed because I need to know more about this bone-handled knife.
I know it's a very odd bone-handled knife, isn't it?
It was held to your neck. I wondered if he wants to get our help. Why would he be threatening you with a bone-handled knife?
All right. So I'll go to the Barker, and if coins are like they are in our world way back when, then I should be able to break the coin into pieces. Leave him 3/4, which is 75%.
The coin cannot be broken.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to give him a whole fucking coin.
Well, let's assume that you could amortize that loss over a couple days, right? I mean, it hasn't been that long.
I only had part of a day, and I made
Yeah.
7. So
Yeah, so if you make 20 in total and you end up having to pay another whole one on top of this, then you'll be good.
all
I mean,
right.
I assume we're going to be here very long, but sometimes dreams seem to last for a long time, but my feet hurt.
I intend for us to leave as soon as we have money.
Ulthar, you mean?
Ulthar, correct.
Yeah.
We might have to sneak out in the middle of the night, but
Make sure she's paid. She might have spider cousins on the road.
Yeah.
They could probably have a telegraph system.
Wonder if she communicates with the other spiders back in the waking world.
as long as I don't cheat her, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Though what a spider would have interest in money is beyond me,
She's got a staff to maintain,
I guess.
They don't eat sheep all day.
That is a sticky proposition there.
It seems like even though Cled is within walking distance of Ulthar, and Ulthar seems pretty civilized, the Burgermeister's never been there, has no interest. He says it's dangerous, ominous, full of whatevers. So I'm interested in wrangling Barnabas, but I'm not sure he's interested in silver. He wants something a little more personal.
I suppose we should assume that if this is the Dreamlands, that there's also a Nightmare Lands. We don't want to go there.
Honestly, as far as Zeb's concerned, he's already had one bad dream since we got here.
So you
He's on a very nice tea sofa in my parlor, so I'm worried about that.
So you do find the Barker, and he says, I can accept that for you, and
Do make
care.
sure she gets it.
Yes, absolutely.
And thank her a great deal for the facilities. They're absolutely perfect. Can I ask
Good.
you what exactly happened to the last fortune teller?
She was unable to keep up her side of the contract.
Ah, I see. And Henaria ate her.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Thank you. Good night.
Is Barnabas around? Do you happen to know?
Barnabas is not around. My understanding is that he is attempting to acquire supplies and animals for your journey to Cled.
Oh, excellent. Okay, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to discussing terms with him. I guess on the morrow we're staying at the keep.
Oh, wow! With the Burgermeister.
Indeed.
Okay. Well, you are a very strange and impressive group of travelers. It's quite the feat.
Sometimes you happen to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. So
All
that's
right.
how a lot gets done. So thank you, my good man, and I bid you good night.
Good night. All right, so you guys retire to the keep, and you are all back together again in the West Wing, which is filled with guest quarters. There's all kinds of people who are able to meet your needs, get you anything that you need to eat, drink, any kind of small creature comforts they'll take care of, and you guys are, able to relax quite comfortably. Your windows overlook the city of Ulthar, and you can see to the north, near the north gate, you can see the river, you can see the bridge that goes over, and near it is another, it looks like a white temple, and it's already been pointed out to you that is the temple of the Elder Ones.
So we should, my only concern, fellows, is that if we sleep here, we might wake up in my parlor, and we don't have enough of the draft to all come back. But I guess we have no real choice but to risk it.
Do we feel tired?
I mean, you do feel like you could sleep.
But we're not getting heavy-eyed.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
But we can't do anything all night, so.
Yeah, we may just have to risk sleeping.
Yeah.
The worst that could happen is we either wake up back there or we wake up here with a bone-handled knife to our throats. So,
Well, I hope we don't wake up with any bone-handled knives to our throats in the waking world.
Yeah.
What do you suppose your gentleman meant about stopping the star?
Well, the astronomers here of Ulthar showed me something. There's a comet approaching. They call it Nemesis. It's red with a white and red tail that changes its speed of approach. It's very... It feels malignant. I don't know a better way to put it. Just looking at it just gives one a bad feeling.
So is that what he meant? He must have meant that.
I don't know what else you could be referring to.
But if it is that, how do we stop? How do we stop something like that?
I wonder, Dr. Long, if this has anything to do with in the waking world. Our society had located a newly found heavenly body and built that observatory in Montana. I wonder if that's related.
Well, the thing is, this place where we're in right now has a different cosmos than the waking world. This thing, if the stars we're familiar with form an outer shell around us, if you want to think of it that way, this thing, like some kind of sphere, Zeno, there are other spheres beyond that of stars here. And this thing comes from outside that first sphere of which we would be familiar.
Oh, I thought they were just balls of gas.
They are. Zeno.
The universe is more than you think that it is so far. And
Well,
you're getting the proof with your own eyes.
Whatever, if this is all real, when we wake up in Myron's study and I'll say the name Peter and thinks it's all too real, this is still not part of the physical world we inhabit. This is something metaphysical. There is a things that are true here are not necessarily true in our world.
But they could be. There could be similarities. Did you notice any familiar constellations?
Yes, as I said, there's a first, as I will describe them as shells. There's a first shell that is very much like our heavens that we are familiar with.
So you actually identified.
Yes. But the moon is about 3 times closer to us here than it is in the waking world.
Very interesting.
That is difficult to explain. As I said, there are similarities, but mostly it's different. The differences outweigh the similarities.
What is the myth of Nemesis? Does anyone remember? Is that Greek or I think it's Roman?
It's a Greek word, most definitely.
The Roman goddess of justice or revenge, or I'm not quite sure, but not somebody in mythology you'd want to cross by any extent.
Yeah, I'm sure Zebedee would know because of his history. Like, I personally don't know, but Zebedee sure would know more probably about Nemesis in mythology.
Now, if back to how we return here, if Matthew White is not taking the draft every night then he's getting back without it. Or
maybe he's just a natural dreamer.
Yeah, he's more...
Plus he has a big stash.
Well, also, it seems like most of the residents here don't realize that this is a dream world. A handful do. I wonder if the lizard man did, but Barnabas knows, but the Burgermeister doesn't know. I asked him how long he'd been Burgermeister, and he said as long as he could remember, which would make sense as a metaphor where we come from. But I think here it's quite literally true. In his dreams as Matthew White, he's the Burgermeister of Ulthar. And in his dreams in Ulthar, he has a caring relationship with a paternal figure.
In perhaps this place when he experiences, he has a much more vibrant connection with the world around him. His senses might be heightened. I mean, his ability to talk here and interact with others could make this place far more real than where he's originally from.
It's also possible that those who spend a lot of time here do forget the real world until they go back to it.
Yeah. Well, also, Philip Baxter was using the sleeping draft to travel here willfully. I don't think Matthew White is traveling here willfully. I think Matthew White is in some way naturally here.
But it's more of a physical place than it is a metaphysical one, because it's consistent. It stays here. People come and go, and come back again.
But I mean, our bodies didn't transfer here,
right? Our minds did, or our souls.
So, I mean, the existence of this place, shakes up far. The developments for philosophy are vast. The implications for, say, astrophysics, not so much.
There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Interesting. Well, I'm going to go to bed, so I can be fresh and bright in the morning to bilk some money out of more people.
No matter which world you awaken, I assume.
Of course.
Well, sweet dreams, everybody.
Yep, sweet dreams.
Okay, you guys all turn in. A little unsure of where you will awaken. And it doesn't take long for you guys to, succumb to sleep. And when you do awake, you awake in the Western Palace quarters of the Burgermeister's palace.
Marvelous. Now to breakfast and then back to work.
I have mixed feelings about not waking up in the waking world. Are we trapped here?
Well,
Do we
there's the
have to go
staircase.
before
We
we came
came downstairs. Perhaps we need to reascend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thought, and it's hopeful too, because if we don't figure out how to stop the star, I think I'd rather get the hell out of here.
Well, maybe if we can figure out a way to stop it here, maybe not stop it here, but maybe the knowledge we learn here will help us with whatever.
I'm curious how
in the
how
future.
this albino knew of the star. I would like to return to the library. The name Nemesis and knowledge that there's some kind of comet approaching, that gives us more line of research than merely the jungle of Kled, but I don't know how to find that place again.
Well, I think our first order of business, the carnival's probably not busy in the morning. That's, an entertainment for later in the day. So I think we should take advantage of the Burgermeister's offer to send someone to the temple ahead of us and see what the priests of the Elder Ones can tell us about written language from another universe and what kind of hobgoblins live in the jungles of Kled.
That someone there might be a good guide, is qualified for there. But
Although if Barnabas is already preparing animals and goods.
yeah, I just wonder, he's not, Barnabas is not from the temple though, is he?
No.
And the Burgermeister actually, what they recommended, the Temple of the Elder Ones.
Yeah, for advice, I would love to get a monk to travel there with us and Barnabas. I would love to supplement our little group of dreamers with some locals who know how the hell anything works here.
That would be optimal.
But we'll see.
All right. So in the morning, you break your fast with an amazing array of fruits and vegetables and specially prepared eggs and grains, breads and stuff. So after breakfast, who's doing what where?
What was the suggestion, that we go to the temple, or do I go back to work?
That's what I moved, that we go to the temple as a group first.
Yeah, it's a good point that this early in the day, you're right, probably won't be that busy at the carnival, so you wouldn't be missing out much business there, Xena.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ulthar sticks to a traditional 9 to 5.
Do we go through the circus on the way?
No.
Okay. Well, they'll know I'm not there because I'm not answering my door. If somebody comes in the morning.
Yeah, there's probably a sort of shingle that you open to say you're open for business. The flap on the side with the curtain, some such.
It's a good thing you've already paid, just in case.
Right. I'm hoping that my current unavailability will boost up the because I had 7 people. They've probably told their friends.
Oh,
line
before we leave,
the tent.
is there a way? Is there like a little bit of paper, parchment, and a piece of charcoal or something we could scratch a little note on?
Sure.
So I'd like to write a note and stick it to your door, Zeno, saying something to the effects of, "Thank you so much, Dr. Saladin. Your readings were right on. Amazing."
Well, we're not going that direction, but that's cool.
Oh, I just want to put that on your door.
Right, but we're going to the temple. We're not going to the circus. So
you can prepare the note.
You can give it to me. I'll put it on the door.
Oh, we're not passing by.
Correct.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
I wonder if we should make copies of the Chinese characters so that each of us have them. I don't. I. What if different monks at the temple give us different translations or something? I don't know.
Well, that's always the trouble with translations.
Yeah.
So many versions.
Well, I suppose either you know Mandarin Chinese or you don't.
Well, right, but
It's not
direct
it's not,
translations are not always ideal.
Well, they're never ideal. That's correct. It's a long shot. It could be a shopping list. All right, let's go.
Okay.
The keep doesn't have good walking sticks. I can trade my old stick in for like a nicer stick.
From the castle supply of walking
You
sticks.
should always have a pointed stick with you.
Or just, a good walking key.
The Burgermeister Crennan has said that he could provide you with practically anything that you need. So if you want a more robust and finer crafted walking stick, you can have that.
Thank you.
Perhaps I don't need to go to work at all.
In fact, you witness this one older gentleman says, "Oh, I can repair that for you if you'd like." And he takes your walking stick, which is quite natural, right? It still has its bark on it and everything, and he's holding it at one end, and so the whole rest of the stick is kind of sticking up there, and he grabs around it and he kind of twists his hands, and then he begins to like pull this hand along the stick, and he keeps pulling the stick with it, so his hand keeps going with it, and as he pulls his hand down and across this thing, the stick is transforming from some kind of roughly straight, gnarled, barked walking stick into a perfectly straight, hardwood, polished, with a brass brass caps on either end, and boom, there's this finely crafted walking stick. You make a sand roll for witnessing that.
Dear Lord. 33. I hope that's a pass. Should be a pass. 33. Yes, it's a pass.
Okay.
Wow. God,
You lose nothing.
it's amazing. Thank you.
I have failed by 1 point. 1 point.
1 point. Yeah,
Yeah.
you lose one for seeing that.
Oh yeah, I would be.
I
with
think
him
as a
well.
capitalist, that's particularly upsetting to me. This is not an industrial system that is rationalizable.
I failed by quite a bit for saying that.
Yep, lose one.
Here's one.
I
Oh.
pass after seeing the sky the way it is. Like sure, you can transform.
I am now through 50% of my sanity.
And I
Right.
passed with an 01, which is a
Oh.
horrible waste of an 01.
Crinan offered to send a runner ahead, but often when you go to a temple or something, you bring an offering of some kind. Is there anything that we should prepare to propitiate either the elder gods or the members of the temple? I will ask the staff or whomever.
Okay, yeah. Asking the staff is a good idea. So they bring out a large silver bowl filled with grapes, and they say, "You can present this."
Thank you very much, and thank Crinan for us on our behalf.
No, of course.
Zeb, you can carry the big bowl full of grapes. Looks heavy.
Yeah. I can do that.
Okay, so you guys head out to the Temple of the Elder Gods, and it is a quite impressive. In fact, as you approach it, it kind of has a vague resemblance to the Taj Mahal, sort of, kind of. as far as being white with a central structure, a domed central structure with 4 outer kind of towers, spaced around it. And a reflecting pool outside. So you approach and you see lots of people, men and women, and some of the other more exotic people that you've seen in the crowds and stuff. But they all have the same kind of very plain, drab, very light tan robe, hooded robe with a rope belt. Some of these monks do have a little bit of ornamentation as far as different colored strings tied as well to their rope belt. So some have these different colors of frayed strings. People are just kind of moving around and minding their own business on the grounds. And as you get to the front gate, there's someone standing there who greets you with a deep and formal bow and asks, how can the temple be of service to you today?
We are looking for someone who is knowledgeable in languages.
Welcome. You have come to the right place then. And he reaches out to accept your offer. Zebedee, do you give him the bowl? Okay. So he takes the bowl and pops the grape into his mouth, and he says, "Yes, very good. Come with me, please." And so he leads you away. Inside, it's very sparse, but he does take you to a chamber, and there's a lot of cushioned pillows on the floor. And he says, "Please make yourselves comfortable, and I will send the translator."
Thank you.
And soon enough, an older gentleman, by the name, he comes in. He looks quite aged, and he comes in and he says, "Greetings, pilgrims. How may I be of service?"
We came across this annotation in a book, and we would like to know what it means. Show him a copy of that Mandarin script.
He looks at it and he says, yes. He squints his eyes and he goes, yes, I believe I can help you. This guy, he does look quite aged. He's got this very long beard that it wraps around him almost like it blends in with his rope waistband, his rope belt. And so he says, yes, I think I do understand this. So he kneels down and sits kind of in the center so that everyone can kind of, come near him. And he begins tracing his finger along the script. And he says, yes, this appears to be a note. Someone by the name of Long Fu has written, and he says, I can translate it for you now. He says, I quote for you here. It says, there must be more information regarding Yibsil. Appropriation must be made, but how? Perhaps this can be found in the narcotic manuscripts. I shall check the copy held at the Temple of the Elder Ones. On my next journey, Long Fu, 1834. Yes. The narcotic manuscript.
Is that a
Is that-
text that we'll find here?
Yes, we do have a copy of the manuscript here for those to read. I do recall there was a Long Fu who came to visit us quite some time ago.
1834. What? Oh, pardon me. What year is it here? I just keep forgetting.
Well, it is the year of the Star Tiger.
And what number is that associated with again? The Star Tiger. That's right after the.
Is that something I would have learned from the star charts I've been looking at, or no?
Yeah.
Is it, if it's zodiac based, some kind of?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can tell. Give me an astronomy roll.
59 is good.
So after studying some of the charts, you do see that their calendar is zodiac based, and then as certain, I guess the heavens, you assume the heavens move in slightly different rates here. They seem to take longer, and so when a certain constellation is in its zenith, they will count a number of years that they are under that constellation. So while this is the year of the Star Tiger, this is probably, I think according to your notes, this is like the fifth year, 17th cycle of
The Star Tiger.
of the Star Tiger.
Okay.
And so this monk, he's like, oh, this is very interesting.
The Nakata manuscript is not from Ulthar originally.
No, it is an ancient text that we have a copy that we have in safekeeping.
Would it be possible to view it?
I'm not sure. Would someone like to try and convince him?
We have traveled such a long way, and we won't damage it.
So I could go either way with charm or persuasion, although I feel like I'm leaning more towards persuasion.
So I would like that to be persuade.
All right, go ahead and persuade him.
Ooh, 16. That is a hard success.
He gets a read, a feeling from you that he senses your sincerity, and he says, yes, okay, I will bring it to you. Just one moment, please.
Most appreciated.
Very much so.
And he stands. He says, while I fetch it, I will have refreshments brought to you. And so he leaves. While he's gone, eventually someone comes in with a large pitcher and some wooden mugs and begins pouring water into the mugs for you.
Thank you very much.
And now, is the person serving the refreshments? Are they a monk? Are they dressed differently?
They are dressed differently. They're younger, but they're definitely in clothing that's even more poor than what you're wearing.
Okay, so like some kind of like neophyte almost.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll ask. Tell me, do you know of a being referred to as the Watcher of the Glade?
The young man looks up at you and just silently shakes his head no, and continues to, and he holds up the pitcher.
Oh, thank you.
Young man, have you heard of the tale of Nemesis in your studies?
His eyes go up and shakes his head.
He may not be allowed to speak.
Yeah, vow of silence, perhaps?
And then he bows deeply at that.
I commend you for your self-restraint. I hope your journey is the journey you're hoping for.
He bows twice as he's bowing his way out the door, and then he leaves. So not long after that, the old man with the long beard returns with a very large book that he kneels down on the ground, sets the book on the floor, and he begins to thumb through it, and he says, Yibsal, and he's like going through these different pages, and then he opens up to a certain page, and a sheaf of paper is sticking up as if it had been stuck in the book at that page, and he plucks it up and he goes, huh. And it's also, this little scrap is also in what looks to be like Mandarin Chinese. He's like, I'll be.
What's the narcotic manuscript written in?
If anybody is familiar with Latin.
Oh, very much so.
Yes.
Here.
Okay, you recognize the Latin.
It's upside down because he's got the book.
Wow.
He's reading from the book. All right.
Peer over his shoulder, take a gander.
Well, I'm curious what this
Yes.
annotation is. He's left another note.
And you said this is also in Chinese?
Yes, it's also, the scrap is in Mandarin, and he goes, oh my. And he looks at it and he says, look for the stone arch. And he hands the scrap to you, and he goes, he must have marked this page for a reason. And he begins scanning the page, and he goes, yes, I believe this is it. This is what he was referring to. And the old monk says, before journeying to the palace of Yibsal, the priests of the Ivory Blade must be prepared for the great mystic reversal their God can bring to those who face it. They meet at that great pool that fronts the palace. Thence, groveling on hand and knee, they approach their terrible God.
The priests of the Ivory Blade, is that something, father or brother, that is that a group that you've heard of?
According to legend, the forest of Cled was home to many or several small ivory keeps. Each was a bastion for cults to worship their dark gods. That is a very dark forest, the jungle of Cled, and it is wise for people to avoid it. And certainly, this Yibsal, despite what gifts he may be able to bestow, I'm sure they would come at a price that no man would want to pay.
Mm. You see here too that it says that you have to approach him on, is it on hands and on knees, or what did it say?
Yes,
exactly?
apparently here those who worship Yibsel would grovel and approach on hand and knee.
So humility in your approach, or
prostrated before their dark and terrible god.
An ivory-handled blade.
or a bone,
A
bone
bone
handled.
handled.
Bone-handled blade. Knife.
Yeah.
So we have seen a man in town, an albino. Is he one of these servants of Yibsel?
I do not know. I've never encountered one, but it does not sound as like someone who you would want to tangle with.
Right, and he was following our same lines of research, which have led us to Yibsethil, so some.
And he was armed, similarly described.
He told
Well,
us, I'm sorry, he told us that we need to stop a star. What could he possibly have meant? How does a person stop a star? Do you think it's metaphor?
With the approach of the comet, I don't think it's metaphorical.
It might be described in this book here. What was it? The manuscript?
The narcotic manuscript.
Yeah.
But this would take us weeks to read.
Yes, this is a precious artifact that shall never leave the temple.
Oh, we wouldn't want to take it, but both Cornelius and I speak the language that it's written in.
Very fluently, yes.
I do as well.
Yeah, we could study this perhaps here if that would be all right.
I don't know. This is a while the Brotherhood is happy to assist and help those in need, pilgrims in need. Something like this is really reserved for the brothers. We must protect it.
It's understood. Thank you so much for your generosity with showing us such a great artifact.
On another subject, do you know anything about the spider that runs the carnival in town?
Yes, that carnival is only for the absolute worst of humanity. The people who work there and that work for that filthy creature they are not to be trusted.
She has a reputation then.
Yes. Mostly those in her employ are enslaved to her and do not leave voluntarily.
I see. Well, that's good to know. We will avoid
the carnival.
Yeah.
Yes, avoid the carnival at all costs.
And your order, I assume it's very ancient?
Very ancient, very prestige.
And your acolytes, their training is very lengthy, I assume?
A lifetime.
And all very ascetic and studious?
Very.
Do you ever name the elder ones, or are their names not to be uttered?
That is something that we discuss only amongst the brothers.
Does one enter as an acolyte as a child, or can one adopt your ways as an adult or an older person?
Oh no, yes, only as children. The child is payment for a boon, that the temple will bestow for the family, and then they will reward us by helping us increase our number, so that we may then do more good throughout the realm.
What if the child is unsuitable in some way or blasphemes?
All children who have come to the temple are deemed worthy, and none have ever left.
Or there are temples to the Elder Ones beyond Ulthar, then.
Yes, we have a presence everywhere.
Well, not in the jungles of Kled and other barbaric places, I assume.
That is true.
Have you heard of a walled city called Providence?
There are tales of faraway places. I believe I have heard of this Providence.
What of the city of Arkham?
Yes, I believe so.
So, are you aware? To us, this is a dream.
Well, this realm it has qualities that are amazing and dreamlike. Yes.
Well, thank you.
Do your teachings ever mention a star called Nemesis?
I am not aware of a star named Nemesis, no.
Well, look, you might see a new red star in the sky very soon. The court astronomers of the Burgermeister have deemed to call it Nemesis.
I see. All right, I will check the stars. We'll view the heavens and consult.
Well, thank you for your time and for the sharing of your wisdom.
Yes, well, thank you for allowing us to help you.
Do you have a temple in the city to the north?
Near?
Yeah, somewhere.
The town of Near on the other side of the river?
No, that village. Villages are usually far too small to support a temple. But the pilgrims come to us.
Were we to travel north from here, where's the next large enough population for a temple of yours to be?
And he thinks about it and then names a city and says, very far away, past the mountains.
I'm sorry, also, this Long Fu who visited long ago and left these notes, was he a brother from a distant land or a scholar? You seem to be aware of him.
I seem to recall a pilgrim coming through Long Fu. It has been quite some time. Quite some time indeed. And he says, well, if there will be nothing else, be safe in your travels.
Thank you. Much peace to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've got to get to work. Oh, I'm saying this as we're leaving.
Yes, it seems like you might have a little trouble ending your business arrangements there.
It's the same working for the mafia.
I will come make you coffee as well, Zena.
Probably something easier to deal with if I can just find some bug spray.
Lots.
Maybe a bone-handled knife will deal with it.
Well, speaking of bone-handled knives, keep an eye out for this potential priest of Yib to fill. I'm curious, because now that we know of the star or this comet that's approaching, he could be able to provide some clarification about why he wants it stopped and why that concerns us.
Well,
If
if
we
it's
see-
malignant and it's on its way here,
Well,
That's true, but I get the impression that this god of his, this thing out in Kled, is not benevolent. So I am curious why it wants it stopped.
And how would we even go about stopping it too? Something else we have to.
Yeah,
Well-
right. We have to figure that out, don't we?
And the creature in the jungle that we're going, is this to have questions answered? Was that the reason why it could tell you anything that you ever wanted
Yes,
to know?
Philip Baxter says something about it granting wishes, but the book, the Cathat Aquadonin, mentions that it answers questions, doesn't grant wishes.
Unless your wish is to know something.
Well, then that's now convenient for you.
But what would we ask it? That's
How to stop the star
how
nemesis.
to stop the star. There you go.
although the question that the brother asked, what price the boon, is relevant, as is the question, what price for Barnabas's help, since he wants something.
Is Barnabas? The priest was mistrustful of those associated with the spider. How much can we trust Barnabas?
Well, everyone has their own prejudices, right?
That's fair.
The proper way to treat these strangers is to not trust anyone. Assume, if they're friendly and they're nice, go along with it, but remember that they could be deceiving you.
Exactly. That's why I agree with you, Dr. Long, on first finding out why we should be stopping.
So you make plans in case you are deceived, or as with the spider, how I can get away without, with my life.
Assuming again that there's any danger while we're all comfortably snoozing in my parlor.
Yeah. But if we can, I can check to see what the astronomers have in their records, and perhaps another trip to the libraries in order just to see what types of comets have come and passed. If there is such a thing as reference to turning them away or using them for some purpose, that could give us a bit of more to go on.
You said the thing is coming at different speeds at different times. It's
Yes.
not. That doesn't sound like it's plummeting into gravity well. It sounds like it's being summoned or it's seeking.
It's being whatever it is, because no mere celestial object changes its speed. It's all inertia and gravity, as you mentioned, Myron. So perhaps with the speaking of these godlike things out in the woods, it might not be a comet at all.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be something alive.
Yeah. Sounds like it's being maneuvered by something.
Or it's maneuvering itself.
Yeah.
We're not quite sure what it is, but the fact that it's changing speed leads me to be doubtful that it's a comet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Burgermeister has any information, if there's a library within the keep.
Well, there are the records of the astronomers. They showed me many of their charts of the outer spheres, but this is a bit more of a narrow. Now that I know more of what to look for, it's easier to search.
I'm frustrated that everyone knows little of the jungle of Kled, except that it's so full of dangers that it's folly to go there. Because if what was eating Philip Baxter's ghost in front of me is a creature in the jungle of Kled, I'd like to know what to do about that. And yet, even the librarian said that the Cathat was the only book that even mentioned the place.
Perhaps we should find out today what weapons are effective here, what weapons we can get our hands on.
Well, while you're occupied, Zeno, and if somebody goes with you, you can question Barnabas, see what he knows. If he's been there and he's returned with his life, he should have some insight to give us.
That sounds like a plan, and I can just make Zeno coffee all day and keep everyone happy.
Very good.
Oh, right, very well.
So do you guys return to the carnival?
I do. Most
I
definitely.
think we should.
And I do.
I mean, I think we might as well travel there together. I still want to speak to Barnabas.
If you can find him, yes.
So you all head down the avenue, and it's almost like you're tracing a triangle, if you will. The 3 points being the Burgomaster's Palace, the Temple of the Elder Ones, and then the Carnival, right? So so now you're heading to the third point of that triangle, and as you are approaching the Carnival, you can hear it's a little noisier, a little louder over there, and you are all amazed to see this sight of these 3 elephants, and they're really, really big. I mean, they seem even larger than an African elephant, and atop each of them, on their backs, they have these very large, spacious, it looks like, the body of a wagon strapped to their body, strapped to under the bellies of these elephants and stuff, and large blankets, and things, kind of protecting their back and cushioning these wagons that are specially designed to be up on the backs of these elephants. And so there's 3 elephants, each with this large wagon on them, and there's Barnabas standing atop one of the platforms of one of the wagons, and he says, "Ha ha, my friends, welcome back. Your caravan is prepared."
How are we going to afford this?
Wow.
You better start telling a lot of fortunes there, Zeno.
He says, "Please board now, and we shall make good use of our daylight that remains."
Yes.
We don't have any money yet.
He doesn't want silver. He wants something else. But we should come to terms before we head off.
And
Barnabas.
you can see someone wearing the Barker's hat comes around and is holding on to this rope ladder that's dangling down the side of this elephant, and it's a woman. It's this young woman. She's holding onto the rope ladder, and she just says, "Please, I will hold this for you while you ascend."
And that's the wagon that Barnabas is in?
It can be. I mean, it's whichever one you want.
That's the one I want to head up.
Okay. He says, "Yes, come."
Well, I guess this is what we're doing.
Yes, we have no choice.
No time like the present.
They just painted my wagon.
All right. And so, yeah, you see the whole caravan, the whole carnival, and you see the woman with the Barker hat. She now goes over to the tent and is now calling and hawking for people to come and see the freak, the amazing freak inside her tent.
Well, this is all very impressive, Barnabas. Is this larger crew really necessary to go up a trail and into a forest?
Well, I figured if we were going to travel, we should travel in style. It is just going to be us. And so Barnabas kind of steps out on the platform, and he calls out in a language that you don't recognize. He yells out 3 words, and you hear the elephants raise their trunks, and as they trumpet in response to Barnabas's commands, and the elephants begin walking, and they start heading out. And as you guys are aboard these elephants and heading for the bridge to cross and leave the city of Ulthar, we will pull a close to tonight's episode.
Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, Stuart Lively, Josh Harwood, David Gassaway, and myself, with John Hook as the Keeper of the Secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month will help us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.